there has always been a lot of talk in the design creative sector about whether or not you should put prices on your website. You know, every now and again on social media, somebody will say, should I put prices on my website? And people will pile on with their opinion. Yes, you should do it for these reasons. No, you shouldn't do it for these reasons. And, you know, I'm not actually here to say whether you should or you shouldn't, generally speaking. But I find that this argument here for not putting prices on your website deserves a fair hearing. And it's something that I don't think a lot of people consider. So allow me to talk you through this now, especially if you are of the persuasion that we should put our prices on our website, because this could be a different way of looking at it that can actually change the way that you see your clients, your business, your onboarding process. So in this video, I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't put prices on your website. Don't take my word for it, as some sort of gospel truth, because it isn't necessarily the case. It really is about what works for you. So, the way that I see it is when we put our prices out there, publicly visible, what we're doing is we are inviting people to get in touch with us when they are ready to buy. So that is the right side of this scale here. They're ready to buy at that point, or at least ready to engage in a conversation about, hiring you as their supplier. And that's great. And this is the argument that a lot of people make around putting your prices on your website, because it enables you to kind of pre-qualify people. If you say that your website designs are £5,000, for example, or your blog posts are £100 or whatever it is, you're automatically filtering out people who aren't going to spend that. And I totally get that, and that can work for your business. However, one thing to be mindful of, and something that I've learned through hard experience, is that before a client approaches you, they spend a lot of time figuring things out. And that's on the left side of this scale, okay? They'll have meetings internally. They will maybe go do some research, throw some ideas around. And over that process, through that process, they will probably come up with various different little conclusions along the way. But a lot of it will be contradictory, and they'll change their mind a lot. So you end up with this. They may start out budgeting £15,000. And then they may go and speak to someone else, or look on another website, or read an article, and they think, wow, actually we need to make another 5,000 available. So 20,000. And then somebody tells them, oh, actually, you don't need all that, because we can do, version 1 is a lot smaller scope. You only need 10,000. And then there's some more conversation happens, and they settle on a budget of £12,000. So that's when they come to you with a budget in mind. And the problem that we face, or the challenge that we face as creatives, is we often take our client's budget as the final number. So we try and work to that, We often don't challenge it because we know that they've gone through a lot of thinking and a lot of thought process before that. The reason not to put prices on your website is so that you can be a part of that conversation early on. You can invite people to talk to you, and you can help to actually define that scope and that budget so that when they are ready to buy, it's a reasonable amount. It's the most correct amount that you can work with. If you engage a client, or a client engages you when they've already decided what they're going to spend, and it's sort of immovable, that's too many steps for me personally. That's too many steps along in the process. You're going to have to unpick all of that and work them backwards. So what putting prices on your website does is it kind of takes you out of that conversation that could be had earlier on in the process, where you can actually help to define what they're looking for at that point, and then you can command your own rates effectively. So I think this is something that is really worth thinking of. And You know, you might say to me, actually, there's no time for that. We don't want to do that. We just want people to come through to us when they've got their budget, they've got it all sussed out, and then we're going to just step in at delivery. And that's fine if that is your business, if that's your business model. However, if you want to have more of a control over your sales process and your sales pipeline, if you want to empower those clients to make the best decisions possible and help to actually define the work that it is that you do, my personal approach would be to allow, to use your website to allow them to start that conversation and start thinking about things and get in touch with you sooner rather than later, so they haven't already made a bunch of decisions early on that are going to predefine that budget that you will have to just work to unpick and sometimes change down the line. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope that it's helpful. It took me quite a while into my career before I really understood this. A lot of the times I did just take that budget as the budget. But now I know that there's a lot of value to be had in starting the conversation earlier on. So use your website as a tool to generate those conversations, to build the trust, and then you can participate in those early conversations that will lead to the best possible outcome for your clients, but also for yourself. If you like this video, please like the channel, like the video and subscribe for more. There's plenty more content on here. Have a look through it, and I hope that it helps you with your creative business to find the confidence that you need to build the business that you want and serve the clients that you have in the best possible way.